Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dork Entertainment. We've got another special review here. Tonight we're reviewing Gemini Man, the new Will Smith movie by Paramount Pictures. We just got back from the screening.
Yeah, an advanced screening that was. Yeah.
Advanced screening, thanks to Event Cinema.
Thank you.
That was also in 3D, and it was in HFR, which is high frame rate.
Yeah, so I'll explain. I'll explain just before we go on with the whole review what HFR is. So HFR is so basically every movie that you've ever seen is shot on 24 frames per second. That's how many frames you see, frame of film you see every second. It gives like a certain effect. So when you're watching it, it's like slightest bit like jittery, but we've been used to that effect. We've been used to film for so long being 24 frames that like we've just gotten used to it, like, you know, for our eyes. The Hobbit, which was released a couple of years ago, was done on a higher frame rate, so it was double the frame rate of film. So that was 48 frames per second.
Yeah,
and that's why a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it looks like it's VHS. This looks weird. Like, what the hell?" So Gemini Man was actually shot in 120 frames per second.
Yeah.
So this is like nearly how many times? Like
almost like 3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times the rate of actual film. So it's very very smooth, and it looks like a video game basically to me when I was looking at it. So it has a different sort of effect. So while 24 frames is a film, and then 48 looks very much like a VHS sort of thing. If you double that again, it looks like a video game. Yeah, that's what it looked like. Yeah. So that's just clearly what HFI means, and yeah.
So we're just going to start off with our ratings for the movie.
Yeah.
So I'll give you my rating. So I give this movie a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 dorks. And what's your rating for this movie?
Yeah, 7 out of 10 seems fair. That's what I'm going to give it as well. 7 out of 10.
Yep. So we'll start with the main, I guess, special thing about this movie is the HFR and how it actually affects the 3D, because it is filmed in 3D.
Yeah.
It is filmed with 3D cameras, I believe.
Yeah, it was filmed with 3D cameras and HFR, so 120 frames per second.
Yeah. So I found the video quite. So the side effect of the frame rate is the video is a lot smoother. It's a lot closer to what your naked eye sees in real life.
Yeah.
And combine that with the 3D, I thought it looks so special. It was brilliant. It's like you're looking through a window, basically.
Yeah, that's what I felt like the whole time. It takes a little while to get used to it, the whole 120 frames thing. But once you do, it literally feels like a window, and you're just looking through it and seeing all this happening. So it's interesting. It's an interesting effect, and it's different. I haven't seen it in film before. I think this is the only film that's done 120 frames. So. And it looks really smooth as in like a video game, like I said earlier. Like, it looks like a video game in terms of how smooth it looks.
Yeah. If you guys know of any other movie that's been filmed in 120 frames or more, let us know in the comments below.
I think there is.
But yeah, I think it's the first time I've seen it like this, and the effect on the 3D is the 3D is so much. There's so much more depth in the 3D. Yeah. And the colors, the lighting, it looks so good in HFR. Yeah. It makes you wonder why don't they film a lot of the 3D movies in this way? Like, I feel like 3D it came out with a bang, and then with the down conversion and people companies not using actual 3D cameras and converting it afterwards. I feel like it's sort of the 3D effect sort of moved away, but
it's moved away. So I can explain that a little bit. So 3D came in, it was great, and there was a couple of like Avatar was filmed in 3D.
I haven't seen a movie like Avatar 3D ever, by the way,
and that's why it was so good, because it was filmed in 3D. But then what happened after that was a lot of movies were post converted to 3D, so that's where they filmed in 2D, and then through graphics and stuff they are post converted. The problem with that, the problem with what you're saying is that why don't they just film it all in 3D? Because of the fact that if you were to film it in 3D, it's double the file size of your whatever you're currently filming in at the moment. Now, because you're using 2 cameras and they're side by side, and then the format. So now that if they do that, you're talking about 120 frames per second now. So when you add more frames to a second, it's going to create even a bigger file size.
Yeah.
So I think the cost to do that is too much. I think that's why I think Ang Lee did. Ang Lee's a very professional, technological sort of guy.
Yep, he's the director, by the way.
Yeah. And I think it was something where maybe from the studios, Paramount. Was it Paramount?
Paramount and I think Bruckheimer.
Yeah, Bruckheimer. So that they wanted to have something else attached to this, but I think adding 3D and a high frame rate to this movie made sense. I was trying to figure out why they added it to this movie. I think it was mainly for the action, which makes a difference. When you're viewing action in the high frame rate, it's so smooth and it looks so slick.
Yeah.
If you watch it normal 3D with like 24, like with the normal frame rate, it looked jittery and stuff, and you wouldn't know what was going on.
No, and there's a scene in this where the sparks are flying and water is flying out at you.
The elements really they pop.
Yeah, it really pops, and then the depth adds to it as well. We'll talk about the actual story, the movie for Gemini Man. I thought the movie was a little bit. It was okay. It was a good story. So if you've seen the trailers, you know that it's about. A clone basically of Will Smith, who's an assassin. He's an assassin who's retired, or he's retiring.
Yeah. So before we do anything, this is a spoiler review. So
that's what I was saying. I mean, we're not going to say anything too much about it because what's in the trailers is what we're talking about.
So there's not a spoiler review.
No, this is not. We're not going to show the ending. There's not going to be spoilers in this. Okay.
Okay. This is a non-spoiler.
Non-spoiler, but
this is one of our first non-spoiler.
But in the trailer, basically, Will Smith. He's a retiring assassin, basically, and he's got a clone.
Retiring assassin for the government. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Who's after? The clone is now after Will Smith.
Yeah.
Now, how they develop the clone or whatever happens, that's the rest of it we won't talk about, or what happens in the end. But in regards to the ending, I just felt like it was leading up to something that could have been massive. Yeah. Like a really big reveal, which didn't really come, I gotta say.
Yeah, so the screenplay and the story was very standard to me.
Yeah, it was a good movie. It
wasn't a bad movie.
Yeah,
it was just very standard and okay.
Average to good. There was nothing great about it except for the HFI.
Yeah, the
3D.
technology is great. Yeah. But I don't think there's anything. I thought even the de-aging technology of Will Smith's face,
that was really good.
That was good.
95% of the time they got that perfect, I think.
Yeah, except for one scene at the end which just looked off.
You'll
notice it when you watch it. It looked very
and surprisingly, that scene is in daylight as well. I think that may have had an effect.
Most of the film is at night, so that's another thing as well.
Yeah, so the clone scenes where younger Will Smith is mostly at night, but when you see him in the daylight,
it's a bit off.
Look a bit off. Yeah. But most of the time, I think they did that pretty well. So the story, I thought the story was very average to good. Yeah, very standard. But they could have done a bit more with that at the end, but that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
It sort of felt like we'll talk about like the acting as well. Will Smith, I mean we know Will Smith is a seasoned actor, and I think he did pretty well. Both Will Smiths did pretty well. Like the younger version and the older version did really well.
Nothing special though. That's nothing.
Yeah, it was a good like movie. Like I got to say, but my favorite retired assassin movies. It's still John Wick.
John Wick, yeah.
That's like my favourite, I gotta say.
John Wick is
but yeah, this was a good movie. It wasn't up to that level, but it was good. You know what I mean? What did you think? Did you think they could have done a bit better? Or do you think there's something... I feel like it was leading up to something which it didn't actually happen.
Yeah, I thought it's just very standard, average fare. Sort of, it was going through the motions a bit with the screenplay, and it didn't really lead up to much, so...
Like, they were running around a lot.
Yeah, they were running around different
locations. I've got to say, sometimes some movies... I've got to say, some movies, they reveal too much in the trailer.
Yeah, I think it's... this movie's guilty of that too.
Yeah, I feel like they could have held a bit back in the trailer, Paramount.
Especially with the whole Will Smith clone thing. I thought maybe that could have been a good story hook, but...
Yeah. And there's a couple of really good action scenes. And I'll tell you, 70% of the action scenes... are in the trailer.
Yeah.
So
you see it in the trailer, so you're not really that shocked when you see it in the movie. So it's a bit disappointing.
It was an interesting choice to show it in the trailer because most of the time, like the main scenes, and the big reveal is kept in the dark until you watch the movie. But they decided to show it.
What do you think of the supporting actors? We're okay.
Yeah, they're okay. That's the thing. They were okay. It was
the
good.
the guy from Doctor Strange.
Yes,
that guy.
What's his name? I forgot his name.
Yeah, it was the actor. I don't know. Yeah, he's the guy from Doctor Strange, and obviously.
Yeah, Doctor Strange's sidekick. He's in there.
Yeah. And that woman Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She played someone.
She was in Final Destination movies. And she was in another movie. Cloverfield Lane. And what did we watch recently? She's in a few movies, but they're okay. She was okay. Yeah, they were okay. Even the villain wasn't really.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was sort of. Yeah, this thing is very average. Across the board, it's just very average.
It was average to good. So
average to good, yeah.
I mean, that sort of gives my rating of 7 out of 10. It wasn't. It was
nothing mind blowing.
Yeah,
really, to be honest, except for the technology.
And I tell you, it got to 7 because of the whole technology thing.
Yeah, I would have given this a 6 if it wasn't for the technology.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a bit standard.
So let us know in the comments below what you think of this movie when it eventually comes out and you watch it. Let us know in the comments below. Hit the like button, hit the bell notification if you haven't already, and also subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. So we shall see you in the next review. See you guys. Peace.